Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode number 78. Good morning. It's a Saturday, and I am wearing my I ate too much crab rangoon last night uniform, sweatpants and a hoodie. But I have some coffee. It's the weekend, and a lot's going on. I didn't know I would have this much to talk about, but I had to delay my topic from yesterday. Why I think we are in a hobby lull right now, but why I think 2021 will be an even bigger year. 2020 has been absolutely crazy, but 2021, in my opinion, will be even bigger. We'll see some things next year that will surprise us, and I'll tell you what I think is going to happen in the hobby next year. But before I get to that, I want to show off. Oh, also, I found some Mosaic football. So after I talk about the hobby in 2021, I'm going to open a cello pack of Mosaic football. I opened two hanger boxes of Donruss football last night, and I opened a hanger box of Mosaic. I tweeted the results on Twitter last night, but I have left the cello pack that I'll open this morning. I also have hanger box and blaster box of Mosaic. I'll probably hold those off until tomorrow and open those during football. The Bears play at noon, so give me something to open during football. So this is a Tony La Russa bobblehead. This came in the mail yesterday. It's an Iowa Cubs bobblehead. So what's unique about this? And it's all the strange synergy right now because Tony La Russa is the favorite to be named the Chicago White Sox manager after they fired Rick Renteria. La Russa managed the White Sox in the early 80s. Now, this is an Iowa Cubs bobblehead of Tony La Russa wearing an Oaks uniform. Now, Tony La Russa actually played for the Cubs, mostly in their minor league system, but he appeared in one game in the 1972 season. He did score a run as a pinch runner in 1972, his only appearance for the Chicago Cubs, and he is in one original Cubs minor league set from 1972, Wichita Arrows, the Cubs AAA affiliate back in the 70s. I have that set, very cool set. So I was actually looking for bobbleheads. The Iowa Cubs a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, had a bobblehead named Later, as in player to be named later. So I was actually looking for that bobblehead on eBay last week. So I typed in Iowa Cubs bobbleheads, and this Tony La Russa Iowa Oaks bobblehead showed up in the search. And I was able to get this for like $16 shipped. I have a small bobblehead collection. I just kind of pick them off if I find them for a good price. So knowing La Russa has the Iowa or the Cubs background, it's an Iowa Cubs bobblehead, but it's actually a White Sox bobblehead because the Iowa Oaks were the White Sox AAA affiliate before the Cubs. And Tony La Russa was the Iowa Oaks manager, White Sox affiliate, in the 1979 season. And then he took over, I'm not sure what year, but he became the manager of the Chicago White Sox at some point, maybe 80, 81, somewhere around there. So kind of a unique item, both White Sox and Cubs here represented. It's an Iowa Cubs bobblehead. La Russa actually played for the Cubs in the Cubs system, but he's in technically a White Sox uniform. But I thought it was a cool item, so it will go on my bobblehead shelf. So wanted to show that off. Again, I'm going to open this pack of Mosaic in a little bit, but I want to get to the topic of the day. Zach, what's up? Zach is watching this morning. Favorite because they can't mention Hinch or Cora's name as a candidate until the series over. That's a very good point. That is a very good point. a smokescreen, if you will. Although I am not against the LaRussa hire, I think it's a trial balloon taking heat off a potential Hinch hire, as there is still stink from cheating. Yeah, that's a great point, and I know those two guys were mentioned early on, and I found and still think LaRussa is a head scratching hire. So I think you're onto something. I think one of those two guys will probably be named. So the hobby's been crazy in 2020, and it's kind of been building steam. It's not something that just came all of a sudden from the pandemic. The hobby has been building steam since 2017, and I've often talked about the prices of hobby boxes in particular in 2016, 2017, when I was ripping and flipping boxes and cases. I was doing so heavily in 2016 and then in the early part of 2017. But once Aaron Judge really took off in like May, everything just skyrocketed. There was just an Aaron Judge boom that went into the hobby. And I thought at that time, it's a phase that will end, just like every other rookie. Judge Mania will slip into the past, and there's going to be a new phenom that arises in 2018, and that happened. It does every year, but the prices did not change. And I remember I was in a chat, and I mentioned, 2018, there's not going to be a craze like Aaron Judge. We're going to see prices dip back to what we saw in the early months of 2017. That was not the case. The prices that exploded in 2017 and exploded if you go off by percentages, now we look back and it's like, oh, that's a deal compared to 2020 prices. They did not. Prices continued to be high. We had a new phenom to kick off 2018. Topps was able to sneak in Shohei Ohtani into its early products. And then by the end of the year, we had, I think it was Ronald Acuna who really took off, at the beginning, and then Juan Soto later. But we had Acuna, Soto, Gleyber Torres. We had a loaded 2018 Topps update. Now, in 2018, that Topps update wasn't a hot product. In 2018, Topps update, in November of 2018, I bought a hobby case of 2018 Topps update shipped for $500 from Blowout Cards. I kept it sealed because I knew it was going to rise in value with the rookies. I wish I would have kept it. I did flip it. I flipped it just a few months later, probably in April. So I sat on it for 4 or 5 months. And it sold for about $1,700 off a $500 purchase. Now those cases, I know at one time they were up to $5,000. So it's something that, even though I made about $1,000 in a couple months, that's a good flip. Could have made a few grand by waiting, a year and a half. So that's kind of the craziness of 2018, and then it kind of, it just kind of plateaued the pricing in 2019, and then all of a sudden we have 2020, the pandemic hits, and everybody wants to get into the card game, and that's due in part to we were already seeing a rise in popularity. The national in 2019 was my first national, but a lot of longtime visitors to the national said that this is, the most people they've seen at a national since the early 90s. And that was before 20, so that shows you that this rise in popularity in the hobby has been steadily increasing. And then all of a sudden it just took off like a rocket in 2020. Now, this will not be, it's not sustainable. We're going to see a drop, and we're going to see popularity decrease, just because that happens in everything. But 2021, will be even crazier than 2020. Why do I think that? Part of the reason I'm strictly baseball. However, I've been having a lot of fun ripping football. Um, so now all of a sudden I'm a buyer in football. Basketball is just absolutely insane. Will there be a drop off because this year's draft class is not as uh, you know uh, popular pre-draft as what we had with Zion. We had Luka Doncic really take off, but it's still going to be there's going to be demand for the new upcoming draft class for basketball. And then when basketball season starts, hopefully we do get it started around Christmas. Somebody's going to take off. There's going to be somebody that flies under the radar and all of a sudden booms, and there's going to be another surge for those cards. So I don't see anything dropping in the near future for basketball. For baseball, 2021 is going to be absolutely crazy. We have seen a lot of new collectors join the hobby in 2020, and I don't think that will go away yet. I think once we get back to a normal life, as in you can go out to bars and restaurants, you can shake people's hands, you can go to sporting events, you can actually do life's activities, which seems like it's been forever since we've been able to do things. People are going to have less time on their hands. And I've talked about it many times here and on Twitter that I've been scaling up my eBay store, and I continue to scale up, add inventory. Right now I'm looking at like 88 packages to ship out today. Because I just keep adding more, keep selling more, but that's not sustainable. I will not be able to keep up that pace when I get back to a normal life. I'm working from home, so that affords me about an extra hour in the day to do these packages. So before I start in the morning, I can get a few packages done. I have a few minutes extra at lunch. I can do those. I'm clicking off. I'm not having that commute home, which is short, but it's time. I'll be playing trivia on Wednesday nights, hopefully again. So that takes a night away from, getting some packages done. So I'll not be able to sustain my eBay store once everything returns to normal. And I understand that. So that's going to be the same with a lot of people. So they won't have that extra time to devote to sorting baseball cards on a Thursday night, or having the weekend to go out, buy some cards, and sort their old cards from their closet and basement. So I think we'll see that continue, this trend continue into 2021, because right now there's no end in sight. We're seeing surges in positive cases for COVID, especially here in Wisconsin. I know other states as well. So there is not a bright light. There's a light somewhere at the end of the tunnel, but I don't know how far that light is, because we're still pretty deep in the tunnel right now. So I think there's still going to be a demand in the hobby for 2021, because we're still going to have time on our hands to devote to hobbies, whether it's baseball